Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Sarah Wong. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Lawmakers clash over the pension fund's offsetting mechanism. Hong Kong's daily COVID cases jump to a 7-week high. And a car crashes into a crowd in Berlin, killing 1 person and injuring 30 people. Lawmakers are split over whether the MPF offsetting mechanism should be scrapped. Some legislators say the system deprives workers of money that belongs to them, while others warn that abolition could hurt businesses. Macy Mock reports.
Lawmakers are divided on scrapping the offsetting mechanism, which allows employers to use their contributions to the mandatory provident fund for severance and long service payments. Lawmakers from Federation of Trade Unions and other unions supported the bill. FTU lawmaker Lok Chung-hang burst into song to describe his excitement on abolishing the bill. He said the offsetting system had in effect forced workers to pay for their own compensation. Chen Siu-hong said the time is not right to cancel the offsetting mechanism, but he would support it with tears in his eyes. He said dropping the mechanism would increase uncertainty for businesses and warned that some workers might try to get laid off in order to obtain a long service payment. Business sector lawmakers, such as the Liberal Party's Peter Xu, opposed the bill. Sunny Tan of the textile sector warned of an increase in long-term operational costs and worried that employers could lay off staff before the abolition takes effect. A vote on the bill is expected to begin tomorrow. Once approved, the government will introduce a $33 billion subsidy scheme to help employers over 25 years. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
A woman in her 50s remains missing after she was feared to have been swept away by flash floods while hiking in Pet-Sing-Ling Country Park. Her companion alerted emergency services after she slipped and fell into a stream near Chongmei just before 1 p.m. A red rainstorm warning was in force at the time, triggering flash floods. Divers from the Fire Services Department were deployed for the search and rescue mission. The river is often visited by those seeking to reach a famous waterfall upstream. The city's incoming leader, John Lee, has asked the High Court to exempt him from penalties for the late submission of election-related documents to the Electoral Affairs Commission. Table tennis coach Li Cheng, lawmaker Nelson Lam, and celebrity Alex Fong were invited to feature in advertisements for the chief executive election. According to a writ, Lee failed to submit copies of their consent of support on time. Failure to comply with the regulation could result in a maximum fine of $5,000 and 6 months in jail. Patrons of a restaurant in Taikushing have to undergo tests after 2 people who had lunch there contracted COVID. New cases rose to a 7-week high, with more suspected subvariant infections identified. Chloe Feng reports.
New COVID cases in Hong Kong climbed to 558 today. One of the 63 imported infections is suspected to be either an Omicron BA.4 or BA.5 variant. The patient, who lives in Chatham Gate in Hong Kong, tested positive on the 9th day after arriving from Britain and had visited restaurants in Causeway Bay and Tsim Sha Tsui. There were 14 more suspected BA.2.12.1 infections. 2 of the patients, who do not know each other, had lunch at the Ashima Yunnan restaurant in Taikushing last Wednesday. All those in the restaurant at the time have to undergo compulsory tests. Other variant cases were found in Ho Man Ting, Chai Wan, and Chen Kun-o. Chang Shu-kwan of the Center for Health Protection dismissed concerns over the variants, saying the cases were sporadic. 94 infections were reported in 87 schools, with students accounting for 2/3 of the new cases. Chloe Feng, HKIBC.
Overseas, at least 17 people have been killed and more than 50 injured in a train derailment in eastern Iran. The train was carrying 350 passengers when 4 of its 7 carriages jumped off the track. The accident happened 550 kilometers southeast of the capital, Tehran, early this morning. Helicopters and ambulances ferried the injured to the desert city of Tabas, 50 kilometers away. At least 1 person was killed and 30 others were injured when a car plowed into a crowd in the German capital, Berlin. Paramedics and police rushed to the scene and arrested the driver. The crash happened next to a public square where in 2016 an extremist hijacked a lorry and drove into a packed Christmas market. 13 people were killed and over 100 others were wounded in that crash, which was branded as a terrorist attack. American actor Matthew Mcconaughey has made an impassioned appeal to Congress to tighten gun laws. The 52-year-old was born and raised in Uvalde, the small Texan town where teenage gunmen killed 19 children and 2 teachers in a primary school last month. The debate on gun control in the United States continues to heat up, with no sign of a breakthrough in a gridlocked Congress. Dozens of people have been killed or wounded in a slew of shootings across the country in the 2 weeks since a massacre at a primary school in the state of Texas. After 19 children and 2 teachers were gunned down in Uvalde, Oscar-winning actor Matthew Mcconaughey returned to the town where he was born. He then took his rage and tears to the White House, where he shares stories and dreams of several victims, including 10-year-old Maite Rodriguez. She had always worn green sneakers with a hand-drawn heart to showcase her love for the environment.
These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that? People in power have failed to act. So we're asking you, and I'm asking you, will you please ask yourselves, can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands?
McConaughey met President Joe Biden and lawmakers on Capitol Hill to discuss gun legislation. The Democrat-controlled House of Representatives is trying to push through sweeping reforms that Republicans are inclined to reject. But the White House is optimistic that a deal can be reached in the Senate to improve mental health programs, bolster school security, and enhance background checks. One of the most terrifying pictures of the Vietnam War was taken exactly 50 years ago today. It showed a 9-year-old girl running naked after U.S.-backed South Vietnamese forces dropped napalm on her village.
I was so terrified and so scared, of course. And I thank God for that moment. My feet weren't burned. Just all my neck, my back, you can see all the burn over here.
I hold my camera, I took a picture. When I took a picture, the boy, he died right in my camera, but my eye still looked in the pagoda. I saw Kim with her arm like this running. First I said, why she don't wear clothes? I run closer. I saw her arm on the fire burning. And when she passed, and I look at her body, I know she be died a moment. That's why I put all my camera gear on the highway. I want to help her right away. I don't want to take her more picture.
Kim, who's now a grandmother living in Canada, and Oot have kept in close contact ever since. The Napalm Girl picture triggered controversy when it was first published, but it helped turn public opinion against the war launched by the United States. The U.S. eventually withdrew, and in 1975, North and South Vietnam were reunited under communist rule. Tech stocks helped boost the Hang Seng Index, which rose 2.2% today to a 2-month high. Video sharing platform Bilibili jumped almost 20% after mainland regulators approved licenses for 60 new games. Alibaba gained 10% as investors felt the approval signaled that the tech sector will be spared another regulatory crackdown. A report that electric car maker Tesla will be supplied with batteries by BYD gave stocks of the mainland conglomerate a 2.8% lift. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed up 482 points. Top 10 active stocks: Tencent up $23.80, Alibaba up $10, and JD.com up $15.40. Kuaishou Technology up $2.45, Sinuk up 26 cents, and Hong Kong exchanges up $9. Forex trading against Hong Kong dollar, Eurex trading at 8.42, British pound at 9.84, and Australian dollar 5.64. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is down 41 points. Hong Kongers have been flocking to buy Japanese yen, which has fallen to a 2-decade low against the US dollar. Many want to use the cheaper yen to pay for holidays in Japan, which is again welcoming visitors after the COVID pandemic. But many Japanese enterprises, including clothing chain Uniqlo, are raising prices. They say a weaker yen means they have to pay more for raw materials and are forced to pass on the extra cost to customers. Film fans and history buffs can now take a look back in time with the opening today of a new cinema complex in the West Kowloon Cultural District. The 3 theaters tell the story of Hong Kong through pictures. Isaac Lee reports.
There's good news for movie fans. The M+ Cinema in the museum with the same name screens films which resonate with themed exhibitions, providing visitors with an all-round exposure to visual arts. The cinema has a broad collection of movies from around the world. But before mid-September, it will focus on restored local classics, showcasing the changes in the city's landscape. They include Days of Being Wild, a 1990 film directed by award-winning producer Wong. In order to fully present the visual characteristics of old films, the cinema is equipped with both analog and digital projection facilities.
I think it's really important to continue to tell the different stories around the different formats of moving image and of cinema. Not only are we telling the history of these materials, but we're also trying to get new audiences to understand how different formats and different materials are helpful in the creative process. We want to educate the audience about how films are made, but also maybe also encourage them to make them themselves.
Each of the 3 theaters in the M+ Cinema is uniquely designed to serve different functions. The main theater, House 1, can accommodate up to 180 people and is perfect for large-scale screenings. For filmmakers who wish to interact with the audience, they may opt for 2 smaller houses next door. Isaac Lee, HKIBC.
On to the weather now. Tomorrow will be cloudy with occasional showers and squally thunderstorms. Temperatures range between 25 and 28 degrees. The wet weather will continue on Friday and Saturday. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. Our main news for Wednesday night. Join us for more updates at 11. I'm Sarah Wong. Thanks for watching. Good night.